No zip ties were used for this build in concern of cable management. Why? Well, because it's quite simple. You have so much Velcro ties at the back to cable manage everything properly, and this is one of those features that NZXT, apart from their past cases, actually continues to implement, and I've really enjoyed doing cable management in this case. So this is NZXT H7 FLOW RGB, and this is the latest iteration of H7, which looks quite impressive, and it continues that minimalistic slick design when we have for the past review that I covered, the H5 FLOW RGB 2024, and this one just, I don't know. There is some things that I do have to mention that are a bit bugging me, but you'll see why. So this case is much bigger than H5, and we learned that throughout the years that the bigger the number, the bigger the case, and it comes with that F360 RGB core on front, which it's good. It's good because you get 3 fans immediately and you just simply have to connect them. But the thing is, they can simply just go with the same core design and everything, but with 420 on front, because it looks a bit too small for the front, and you can really manage quite a lot on the front part of this case. Now, I'm gonna go immediately at the back when we're talking about cable management and basically what happens here. I intentionally went with extenders because first of all, I wanted to have longer cables to see how can I manage it, because you have quite limited space when we're talking about power supply shroud, but you have loads of space at the back. But the second thing is, of course, the power supply cables don't look that impressive to be worthy of this type of case. So I went and used the cable extenders and rerouted everything at the back, and still managed to do a proper cable management, because where the 24-pin cable goes and goes at the back and, you know, down to the power supply, you have 3 to 4 Velcro ties. On the side you have 4 additional Velcro ties where the I/O ports are, and here on top you have Velcro ties to cable management, all the fans at the top and at the rear, making it quite nice and easy to close the back side panel. Why? Because, well, first and most important, this case is toolless. You can remove the sides, both side panels, you can remove the top and front panel without a screwdriver. And then we go with the, well, you need the screwdriver to place these fans at the bottom, but you can remove the front panel quite easy because you have 2 thumb screws and you just twist them off and you have the access for that. I mean, this case is, I'll be honest, minimalistic design, really nice looking when we're talking about in general, but the access to this case is outstanding, and the cable management is also there. The only thing that is actually bugging me, such a huge case, and then they sacrifice this part right here. I mean, you could place, if you go with a custom loop, and I'm saying this specifically for custom loop, if you go with a custom loop, you could place a 360 radiator, and not 420, without a doubt, no 420. But in what sense can you go with a 360? You have to place fans here first, then the radiator, and then you can eventually go with additional fans because you do have loads of space. So I would say this H7 Flow is basically inverted NV9, because what happens here, if you remember the design of Antex NV9, it has the same thing here on top, and NZXT plays that right here at the bottom. So we have here vertically positioned power supply, you have the 360 option here, but you have a 360 option there, you have 420 option there. I'm talking about the fans right now. And it's kind of like that. It gives you loads of options regarding the fans. So regarding the price tag, it's $149, which honestly the price is outstanding, specifically if you go with those F360 on front, and the case in general is really worth it. We have it in black and white, optimized airflow when we're talking about in general, because you have fine mesh on front, top, and side where the power supply is, but basically it covers from the top to the bottom. And you also have fine mesh at the bottom, so you don't have dust filters. I don't have to go again and explain the fine mesh. The thing is, you have huge intake at the bottom because this is around 3 centimeters of clearance from the table. You have intake on the front, exhaust, back and top. This is great. Now, supports up to 420 radiator on front and up to 360 at the top. You could, as I said, you could potentially go with a 360 if you go with a custom loop here at the bottom, but you have to have fans that are a bit higher than this bottom rail. This gives you an option to mount a 360 radiator, and the tubes have to be facing front. But in that scenario, I don't think you'll be able to place a radiator at the front because they'll be colliding. As I stated, cable management is really easy. You have two Velcro ties at the top, rerouting the EPS cables down to the route where the 24 pin goes. Then on the side where the IO ports are, you have three additional Velcro ties. And basically it's really that easy to do everything when we're talking about cable management. And in general, rerouting the cables from addressable RGB to even a specific place for their controller, which fits just perfectly just with the magnet, so you don't even have to use any additional double-sided tape or anything similar to that. The magnet works without a problem. What you get also in the power supply shroud compartment, which is nicely placed, is two 2.5-inch SSD cage. To be honest, I'm really digging this switch from hard drive cage, but let's be honest, some of you guys are still using hard drive cages outside of NAS, so basically in your PC. And it does have that option with two 3.5-inch hard drives or two 2.5-inch SSDs. Now the fan capacity in general is up to 10, which means that at the rear you could go with 120 or 140. At the top you can go with three 120 or two 140. The same thing with radiators, so 360, 280. On front you can go with three 140 or three 120 or 420 and 360 radiator. At the bottom, three 120 or the 360 F4 RGB at the bottom, and basically that's really outstanding. It supports eATX up to 277 millimeters, of course ATX, micro ATX and mini ATX. Then CPU cooler height goes up to 185 millimeters, GPU length 410 millimeters, PSU length 200 millimeters, cable management clearance 34.5 millimeters. And for the radiator at the top, if we're talking about 280 millimeter radiator, the maximum thickness is, combined with the fans, 57 millimeters. For the I/O ports, we have two USB 3.2 generation 1 type A, one USB 3.2 generation 2x2 type C, 20 gigabits per second, and one combo headset audio jack. We have 7 expansion slots, and in general, when we take everything into consideration, even ditching this part, because this is the only thing that I'm kind of, trying to find the flaw, because everything else is just well done, really well done and well organized. You have nice openings here for cables at the bottom. Everything is just top notch, I do have to say. And for that price, for $149 with 360 on front, when we're talking about the fans, it's just there. And yeah, now when we're talking about benchmarks, so I used their Kraken Elite 360. We have the NZXT N7B650E motherboard because I paired it up with AMD Ryzen 9 7900X3D. And of course we have F360 core RGB here and on the AIO, and we have a single F120. So everything is just around NZXT products in this scenario, as I usually do with, in general, brands. And when we're talking about builds, I really want to go maximum with one brand, so it kind of looks more unified. And the results are quite nice, I do have to admit. So when we're talking about the AIDA 64 Extreme Edition, CPU went up to 84 degrees, clock speed 4800 MHz. But that's not the best part. The best part is that this GPU, where usually it went from 66, 67, even in some cases, which was in not a bad scenario, but went up to 70, 71, this time it went maximum at 65. And that's great because it really has a nice and decent airflow, and you'll be definitely satisfied. So when we go with Cinebench and this same processor, the CPU temperature went from 79 to 80 degrees, never touching 78, never touching 81. It was strictly on that temperature and that's it. 4975 to eventually 5000 clock speed, but the average was 4975, and that's outstanding. And then we go with Cinebench scores, started at 26,210, eventually touching 26,400. Well, actually that was only once, but in general I would say that the average was 26,330, 40, 50, something like that. And that's good. That's really good because first of all, what you can notice is that the GPU has loads of air, and you can notice that by the thermals. So yeah, for this type of case, and believe me, the material is really, I mean, it's just perfectly designed and no flaws whatsoever. It's just that it looks minimal, quite nice, and I'm really digging it. So in general, when we take into consideration the price tag, you get those fans at the front, really nice ventilation in general, loads of cable management options, well, kind of gives you nice cable management at the back. It's just simple as having a nice tidy case at the back as in on the front, and which kind of reflects on the front after all, because the cables aren't running crazy everywhere. And yeah, I do have to say PC Crazy approved badge, just because I'm really digging the price tag with everything that you get, and I think the performance also gets that extra point for that as well. So guys, yeah, I'm really loving this case. I mean, it's the same thing as the H5. Minimal, slick, and just well thought through. This would be a bonus. Don't get me wrong. This isn't that negative. This is just a bonus for you guys that love custom loop and really want to go even with NZXT products in general, case, specifically case, and you just want to make it pop. And of course, even better cooling, yeah. So guys, yeah, that's it for today. In the description you can find the links for the NZXT H7 FLOW RGB, of course the Kraken Elite 360, and I'll even put the link for the power supply, because I'm using their specific power supply, the newest one, the NZXT C1500 Platinum Edition, which was just wow. The only thing that I don't like about that power supply is the cables, but you'll hear that in a specific video later on during the next week, and that'll be all for today, guys. If you like the video, if you like the content, don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel, and of course click the like for the video and notification bell so you don't miss any future content. Thanks for sticking by, and see you very soon. Bye bye.